I may have made a mistake when I was watching these episodes. So I started watching. I watched 61, 62, 63, and I get to 64, and I'm just like, Sean's on the beach? What happened? I was like, oh, I guess it's one of those weird Sunset Beach moments where they just like jump ahead a little bit.
Mm.
So I finish it. I was like, oh, look, we have a new hospital. Like, Sunset Beach has a new hospital room. Like, ooh, fancy. And then I watch, 65 or six. I watch the next one, and I get ready to watch the last one. And we're taking Sean to a new hospital. I just like, I must have clicked on the wrong one. So I watched what would have been Wednesday's episode
Uh-huh.
Friday.
Oh,
I was all confused for a moment.
okay.
I didn't know how Sean got, I was like, why is he walking on the beach? When did we get new sets that I don't know about? Like,
Right.
I had to, it took a moment to figure out what had happened.
Well, thankfully, with soap operas, it really doesn't take all that much to kind of figure out what's going on.
Honestly, I didn't feel like I missed a thing.
Good. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and as always, I'm joined by Aaron.
Hello.
Before we get officially started, I just want to promote that tomorrow's a new day. Season 2 is starting tomorrow.
Finally, I've been waiting months.
When is the episode drop? Like what time?
It'll be 2 a.m. Central.
Okay.
So if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be right at 12 o'clock.
Oh, cool. So that's 3 a.m. my time. I'll be
Yeah.
sleeping. I'll listen to it in the
Yeah.
morning.
Well, I thought it'd be a nice little way if you had a short commute to work, you start your day in Old Cove.
I'm excited.
I know I am too because my character becomes a bigger part in this season.
Very
I'm being
cool.
I'm being selfish there. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming up.
Good. Um, all right. So today we're talking about Sunset Beach. I'm very excited. It's been a couple of months since we talked about it because of our holiday hiatus. We're talking about episodes 61 to 65, which is so weird that we're that far in, but also it's been about
I
a year that we've been covering it.
yeah.
So roll the credits and we'll get started.
This has been the week I've been waiting for. We finally learned who Dale Douglas' killer is.
Yes, did you feel like it kind of came out of nowhere?
Yes, 100%.
I just
Yes.
felt like all of a sudden we were just focused on it being Elaine, and I almost felt like the writers were like, "All right, we should probably wrap this up."
I feel like that's what happened too. I mean, I'm not mad, but I
Yeah,
just remember like they have this list of everyone that has a gun. I'm just like, you didn't see her name on there before?
they did because
Oh.
they had questioned her, and she said she got rid of it.
Oh, well, I can't remember. I haven't watched a lot. This is when some flashbacks would come in handy.
Yeah. um, so just kind of a refresher from the last time we talked about it. The way we ended was Annie is still hiding out at Ben's because her name
Mhm.
still hasn't been cleared, but she sees somebody moving around her apartment, so she sneaks over there because Annie can't sit still. And we see a figure that from the back appears like Olivia, but when they turn around, it is Eddie dressed up like a woman, very much like Olivia.
I liked Eddie better in drag. I'll just say it.
um, yeah, so he was in that outfit for 2 episodes, and then by the third episode, he finally ripped the wig off, and I was like, I wonder if the actor was like, "Okay, can I at least take the wig off for this episode?"
I would have wanted to keep it on. I would have been getting some hairography. Yes, Annie.
When he was saying how he really loved Annie, and like it may not have been real love for her, but it was love for him, and he still had the wig on. I was kind of hoping that she'd be like, really, and they would kiss with him like in drag. And I was like, that would have been really cool for 1997.
It would have been. Well, I mean, just the fact that I mean, I just was very confused with the fact that Eddie couldn't figure out the suitcase was missing the jewels,
Right.
but he figured out Elaine was the killer. Like nobody's business.
I liked when he I'm assuming they were pictures when he lifted up his dress and in the garter he had the envelope.
I was like, what else you got up there, Eddie?
So I was like, I was like, I don't want to like jump too far and say I'm liking Eddie, but he amused me this week.
He amused me, and you could tell they were trying to go for that softer side when he did his "I love you" or "I have feelings for you," Annie.
Yeah, he said I was hurt, so I acted out, and I'm thinking, okay, so you almost got her raped, you almost got her murdered, you pretty much
Held her hostage a few times.
Yeah, you pretty much, along with everybody else, thought that she was cremated alive, like, but you love her.
I mean, acting out is, I'm going to knock the stuff off your desk and be childish.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, if that's your acting out, I don't want to know what happens when you go full on upset.
Well, let's not forget he's also after the Deschanel jewels. That's why he's back in town. Because they took it from him and filled his suitcase with sand when he had them at gunpoint. And Ben, Meg, and Annie. So I almost feel like Eddie loves money more than Annie. But it's like if he had to make a choice, he'd pick the jewels.
Yeah, if he has to pick between the two, he's picking the jewels.
But even when he had them at gunpoint, I feel like I remember him expressing affection for Annie. Like he wanted Annie to come with him, and she was like, "Screw you! You killed my daddy."
Even though I didn't like him either. It's funny, she cares about her daddy at certain points. You killed my daddy, girl. You don't care.
We're still at the party, the I guess wedding party for Ray and Casey. That what's his name? Whaley threw.
Yeah, I don't like him.
No, I don't either. And I had forgotten that he was like, "May I kiss the bride?" Casey didn't even answer him. He just like shrugged his face.
I know. It would have been different if Casey's like, "Sure, you can kiss her."
Right.
Still didn't like Casey's hair.
I thought about that every time I saw it. I was like, "Oh, Aaron doesn't like this."
If that's his party hair,
yeah,
we gotta change it up, Casey.
And don't forget, he's also, I think he's in school for studying law school. So if that's his lawyer hair, I guess we gotta get ready for it.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, when he was like visiting in the hospital, his hair was back to normal.
I know. I was like, praise the Lord above. Thank you, so Jesus.
So we had Spike in the beginning because he was captured by Greg.
I know. I was so afraid they were going to take him away.
Animal control came while Tiffany hid in the closet because she's not supposed to be living. Well, she lives there, but Gregory doesn't know. But of course, she burst out of the closet to Spike to save him, and
I was scared she wasn't. There was one moment where it's like, Tiffany.
And then Sean and Olivia are in the picture, and Sean pretty much, admits that she's been staying there. And then I gotta say, I was on Gregory's side for a moment in this situation when Sean was like basically laying down that Tiffany's not going anywhere and she's staying there. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you pay the bills in this house?
Yeah, I'm with you there. It would have been different if he may have did something like, well, if the situation was reversed and this was Caitlin who wanted a friend to stay, I bet you'd let her friend stay. Because, Caitlin can do no wrong.
Right. So Sean starts to, while he's arguing with Gregory, starts to get a little dizzy because he had that head injury from when he got into a fight with Mark a few weeks ago. And he passes out. And I like Gregory's response because he thought he was just being dramatic. Like he didn't want to talk, so he fainted.
Olivia's like, Cacaria?
She's like, call 911. And he's just like, he's faking.
I didn't like how Gregory kept blaming it all on Tiffany. Yeah, like Tiffany caused the headaches, or okay, it's Tiffany's responsibility to say, "Hey, you're his mom and dad. He's having headaches." If someone said, "Oh, I'm having headaches," they'd be like, "Take some aspirin." Like
So
like anyone's going to believe
this
her.
is a side of Gregory's personality that I do not like. Because he does that a lot. When they when they go to what I like to call urgent care, because that is not a hospital. Um,
They had urgent care before urgent care was popular.
like Ray is the only doctor in that town. Like she's always the one that's on call and gets called to the hospital.
I understood Gregory when he was like wanting his son to be taken to a hospital. I understood that because Sunset Beach, small hospital.
It's urgent care.
Yeah. Urgent care. But the way he talked down to Ray, I just thought, mm-mm.
Yeah. So this was a situation where he like was blaming other people. He was like, if my son dies because you didn't catch the like whatever was wrong with him when he hurt himself a few months ago, it's all your fault. And then,
I mean, she literally said we don't have a CAT scan machine. So
yeah,
whatever she did last time, it wouldn't matter. You should have followed up at a. I wish she would have been like, you should have followed up with your primary care physician and got a CAT scan taken care of.
I understood where he
I'm
was
urgent
coming.
care.
I understood where he was coming from with get the best surgeon, take him to the best hospital, fine. But if she's telling you he will not survive the trip, his best option is to stay there and let her do what she can for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I had an issue with this because it is an urgent care, even though it's not officially. When they were doing whatever procedure they were doing, it was basically just them with a curtain. And I'm like, this is not an OR. This is not sterile. I'm like, they have his skull open, and this is not a sterile operating room.
They cleaned it real fast during one of the times when it was closed.
I saw nobody scrub in for this.
Not even the doctor.
Oh.
It was that urgent.
But we did get a new hospital set eventually because once that procedure was fine, they did transfer him to San Francisco or something
Bay something, but
yeah.
Still though that hospital isn't in Sunset Beach, so
Yes. But driving distance, okay, and maybe even walking distance, because it seemed like Tiffany and Sean walked back from the hospital on the beach.
Well, Gregory had the helicopter ready.
True.
To transport him.
So before Ray ran to the hospital to contend with Gregory and do all this, she finally told Whaley that her and Casey were not married, which was kind of a relief for me because I was kind of sick of this lie. I just want them to date normal. I don't want to have them to have this lie.
I don't know when this character leaves, but I feel like they're setting her up to leave.
I do know because I actually looked it up today.
Is it getting close to her?
So the last episode we watched was April 7th, 97, and she's gone by June 7th of 97. So we only have 2 months left of her.
Oh, I like her. I
like her too.
I don't get why I don't get it.
I thought we got a full 6 months, but we don't.
Did people not like her, or were they just like, we don't know what to write for her? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know.
There's so much they could have done.
And maybe I'm like biased because I've seen the actress in other things, so I kind of liked her before I saw her in this. She was on Vampire Diaries. She was in the 13.
She was Pearl.
She was Pearl, yeah.
I knew exactly who she was.
She was in one of the X-Men movies. So,
see, they wasted her. The Aaron Spelling. As much as I love him, sometimes they were bad about wasting characters that had great potential.
But it's weird because her character, for the most part, is front burner. Like Casey and her are on often. It's not like Michael and Vanessa, who are on once a week. Like they're pretty on almost maybe every other episode.
I know, and representation for that community that had a like she got a runner storyline. That I mean, in the late 90s, that was probably not common.
Speaking of, just a side note, I was on YouTube just like doing my usual, soap searching and scrolling, whatever. And I came across Original Blair on One Life to Live, who was Asian. And I said to Greg, because he used to watch One Life to Live, I said, "Did you watch the first Blair?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, before Cassie DePaiva took over. And he's like, "No." And I showed him, and he's like, "Oh." I was like, and I think when the show ended, they did flashbacks of that Blair, and she was like, "Yeah, it looked different back then." He's like, "That's awesome."
Okay, I had heard that, but I wasn't sure about it, and I
Yeah,
didn't research it. But that's so.
yeah.
If that would have happened, and to like with social media around, ooh, could you imagine the backlash?
Well, like, she's related to Dorian. Like, how do you not like that? That's not a good casting. Like, how do you
I
cast?
wonder if they had. I thought Blair was adopted.
Oh,
Some.
was she? I don't know the history, so maybe.
I don't either. I shouldn't say things I don't know.
Yeah,
But maybe it made sense then. But maybe they changed her backstory, and that's
maybe.
why they cast her. You know.
Maybe somebody will comment and let us know, or I'll just research it myself. But anyway, back to Sunset Beach. So I hated how. So she basically told Whaley the truth, and she kind of chose Casey. But then they like kissed
Mhm.
goodbye, but like really kissed. And then she goes inside and she like kisses Casey, or he kisses her. And she basically says something like, "I'm not leaving with Whaley, or or I'm not going to be with Whaley because I like," and then before she could say you, she gets called to the hospital because she paused too long.
Mm,
But
yeah, I'm not. I That's the storyline I don't care a lot for because
I like the characters, I just don't really care for the story.
who does Casey get with or is paired with after?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay,
Now's around the time that I know nothing. I'm in it
I
like it's brand
wonder if
new.
maybe it was not her talent or anything. It was they were wanting to bring on other characters and they just had too many. So it's
Maybe.
like we need to write out one or two to because I know Maria. I know Maria's alive and she comes back eventually.
Hmm.
But they have a pretty big cast as it is.
Yeah. Well, some people are leaving. I also read that Tiffany, Adrienne Franz, is only on for like a few more weeks, and then they recast her, but she's barely on, and then she's just gone.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they bring on other characters. I think they kind of Eddie's. A lot of these characters aren't on for the full 3 years. They kind of circulate some new ones in. There's a handful that stay for all three, but not all of them.
I just need a little more Tim.
I think he might be on for most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah.
Um, he was
I will
around. He was sprinkled in. That seems to be what they do with him. He's like sprinkled in throughout the week.
I a pairing that I really wish they would really drive into is Mark and
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Thank you. I wanted to say something else. Yeah. Oh, and my favorite thing about them, I love like there was Kate at the hospital.
Hmm.
Caitlin was standing there talking, and Mark's, on this like a little floating head behind her. It's that soap opera pose they always did when there's
Uh-huh.
something very dramatic. It's like, my
Uh-huh.
brother could be dying. And, then I'm sorry, Kate. And then it's a moment later, then they did. But Days used to do that the over the shoulder all the time. Ah,
And of course, Mark feels guilty because he knows that the injury happened from the fight that he had with Sean.
the thing I was curious about, I wonder, had Sean not been defending Olivia, would she have been like, Mark must go down?
I don't know.
Because, she was like, we shouldn't, pretty much, let's not tell Gregory that Sean was having to defend his mother again.
Yeah, she's like, not that he would care. um, okay, so there was a nice moment in the hospital towards the end of this week where um, Sean had already escaped from the hospital because he had decided he's not having this um, crane. I forgot what they called it.
Craniotomy.
Craniot.
And this is why we're soap fans. And not doctors.
Brain surgery. We'll just say brain surgery.
That if he doesn't have it, he's
to remove the blood clots, he'll die. And he's like, I'm not having the surgery. So Tiffany helps him sneak out of the hospital. So now everybody's like searching for him, and Olivia's a mess. And
when is she not a mess though?
Gregory and her hug, and he kind of shows a little bit of weakness, and he looks like he might cry. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
I saw that, and I was like, I
was like, this is what Olivia wants. Is it bad that I'm kind of rooting for them when I see those moments? Because I'm traumatized and I'm attracted to bad people. And
well, in my mind, sitting here thinking, if I was her, I would probably say something inappropriate. You haven't touched me like this in years. You haven't comforted me like this in years, Gregory.
We only saw Cole for one episode, but we were reminded of how his story ended. When he was with Olivia, he saw the picture of the family, and he finally realized that Caitlin was Olivia's daughter, and that he's been sleeping with the mother. And he hasn't slept with the daughter yet, but he's been sleeping with the mother. And we had a cool little shot where he sees her from the pier looking for Sean. And then he like walks away, and she feels like there's somebody there, and she looks, but he's gone already. Tiffany and Sean basically walk back to his house on the beach, and she's like, all right, well, let's get you back to the hospital. And he's like, I'm not going back. I'm not having the surgery. And that's where that ended.
And then Elaine, she's hit. Oh, Elaine, she goes to the grave.
Well, okay, so first Paula goes to the police station and finds a list of the people who own guns in Sunset Beach. Sees her mother on it, goes to question her mother, and her mother pretty much is like, I told you I got rid of that. I didn't even know how to use it.
The only thing that confused me about all that is what made Paula think her mother could have done it. What made her think, ooh, let me go to this guy, which this is where I was thrown off too. The guy at the hotel who saw Elaine. Why did they not question him at the big? Or maybe it's because he wasn't worried about trying to get his green card or that. So maybe that's why he didn't talk to the police. But clearly, someone's like, oh yeah, this guy knows. Because why would Paul have known to go there? That's where I understand they're just trying to move it forward. Can tell they're trying to move it forward.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on. Maybe if he would have been like, I know who killed so-and-so, and I can't hold on to it anymore, but I'll only meet you here.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, so we see Paula put down pictures of all the women suspects. So we have Annie's picture he puts down, he doesn't react to it. We have Bet's picture, he doesn't react to it. We have Olivia's picture, he doesn't react to it. And then she finally puts Elaine's picture down, and he says that that's the one. And she's like, are you sure?
See, I wish he should have seen all three of them there.
Because they were at some point. Yeah. So then she goes back to question her mom again, and her mom says that she was there, but she never saw Dell. And then she goes to the graveyard and to the Deschanel grave for AJ. AJ, right? Yeah, AJ. And she talks to herself and says, that she couldn't tell her that she killed Dell. Well, Eddie's eavesdropping at behind a tree or another grave, and hears this.
Yeah, Oh, if you ever have a secret, just don't talk about it to yourself.
I was like, was James
Unless
Riley writing at this point? Because this is very Sammy Brady talk to myself, and that's how I get caught because I'm talking to myself.
uh-huh.
um, so then later on in the week, Elaine's put the waffle shop up for sale. She's kind of getting her affairs in order. And I'm like, is she preparing to go to jail or like skip town? And I laughed because who was she talking to? I think she was talking to Cole, and he was like, "Who's gonna keep up the legend of Sunset Beach?" And she was basically like, "Fuck the legend." She's like, "I'm so sick of that legend."
I know, how dare she spit on the legend of Sunset Beach.
She was like, "It's more like a curse." She was just like so over the legend of Sunset Beach.
Because all I could think is, who's going to tell when the sun falls beneath the bridge and the sand washes upon the shore
Right. Mm-hmm.
and lovers divorce? No, I don't know. Just I try to make it crazier every time.
I know.
But yeah.
So at the party, Ben and Meg are kind of, flirty. And they go back to his place and they make out on the
Balcony
balcony.
or porch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because it's lower level, but yeah. And
Oh.
Annie sees that. And he starts to have flashbacks. And this is a little bit of different flashback than we've seen before, because we used to just hear Maria screaming Ben's name and we would see her arm. This time we actually saw Ben in the water and we saw the back of Maria's head. So progress.
Yeah. And the moment they start doing that, it's when you're like, oh, so when does Maria show up?
Yeah, they're going to cast her soon.
They must be looking for actresses right now.
She's probably already on the show, but she won't be on for 3 months like Gabby. If you see somebody new in the credits, that's her.
And they still wasting, like, Gabby's not doing, she pops up every once in a while and be like, what? Are you thinking about that kiss you and I had?
Yeah, I can't read Gabby because when she's with Paula one-on-one, she seems genuine, like she likes Paula and she's trying to like form a sisterly bond with her. But whenever she's with Ricardo, she's always bringing up, too bad Paula doesn't know about our kiss. Like she's gonna do something with that information.
Mm-hmm.
Like do you like Paula or like not? Like what's happening? Like I get it, you're attracted to Ricardo, but like,
is she actually her sister? Do we know?
as far as I know, yes.
I didn't know if maybe she knew Paula's real sister and was like, ooh, know what?
I'm gonna take her identity.
I'm gonna become Gabby.
I mean, maybe. I guess we'll see. So we did see Bet. I was like, really? We're gonna go through 5 episodes without Bet? But then she popped up.
They need more.
I know.
Maybe once Annie's not dead, we'll get more.
But again, I didn't understand why Bet was at the police station being questioned. Like, what? It was just so random.
Yeah.
So Annie, Ben says he's gonna go to the deep to check on things because he owns it, and he's still trying to protect Meg and Annie because they don't know where Eddie is, and even though Annie's already seen Eddie, and Annie says, if I were you, Meg, like I wouldn't push it with Ben or whatever, and I loved how just like calmly Meg was just like, but you're not me. Like,
I know.
She wasn't even emotional about it. She's like, you're not me.
And
no.
Annie seemed more pissed than she did. She's like, excuse me?
And then Annie, I don't know how much I believe this. I think she was just saying it just to placate Meg.
Mm-hmm.
But she says that she's accepted the fact that Ben will never love her in a romantic way.
Oh, okay.
And Meg was just like, good, because he won't. Like very calm and just very like matter of fact.
She's
and
like,
she was just like,
she's like, I'm not letting you get to me. Shut up. I'm gonna go see Ben.
Yeah, she was like, don't go to Ben because he'll freak out on you like he does to me. And she's like, but I'm not you. Like she's just like very like And she's like, and I'm gonna go see him because like he likes me and I like him.
I just need the Dorothy thing, Dorothy Nesby thing to come out too. I think if that came out, it might change a little bit.
I kind of hope it's not like this big dramatic thing. Like you lied to me, like because if it is, I'm gonna be like, shut up. She didn't know the whole time, and when she did, she wanted you to like her for her. Like, just don't make it a thing.
I'm sure it'll be a thing.
But she goes to see him, and of course, he kind of flips out. Like, it's not safe with Eddie running around, and he pushes her away because the whole Maria thing. But she doesn't know it's because of Maria, but she kind of suspects it's because of Maria. And that's kind of where that ended.
The only thing we haven't discussed, I feel like, is Vanessa and Michael, which
Yes.
we learn the kid finds out Michael shot his dad, and
only because Vanessa and him were talking about it. And
yeah,
he was like, "What?
yes,
You killed my father?
Yes.
What?"
But in their defense, they were in their private residence.
That is true, but
They should have knocked on that door before they entered. But I think to me, the big twist of all of that is the mom was just like, okay, you killed him.
and she was like, "I figured you did when you started coming around so much."
Yeah. If it wasn't you, it was going to be someone else.
Uh-huh.
But when you think about it, she may have been like, okay, if this man cares this much to try to make up for that, surely she would know her son's not in danger.
Yeah. And then he kind of runs off. And at this point, we had two people on the run. We had Sean Young, and we had this kid. He gets in trouble. I don't know if he was...
Technically 3, because Tiffany's still on the run.
Technically 5, because Eddie and Annie are also still on the run.
Is everyone in Sunset Beach on the run?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cole's running to something. Elaine's running from the past, so yeah. Meg was running from Kansas, which I would have too. It's Kansas.
So I didn't really catch what happened, but I guess the kid James got picked up for shoplifting, maybe.
He ended up in the police version of Urgent Care on Sunset Beach.
It's bigger than the Salem PD at this point.
I thought it was funny when he's like, put him in cubicle 1 or something, and then when he comes back and they have him out, and Ricardo's thinking, put him in cubicle 1. I'm like, there's probably just the one location,
right? The one,
the one room.
So Michael's able to get him out because he vouches for him, and I kind of felt bad for Michael when he was telling him like, "I love you," and the kid turned around. I was like, "Oh my god, is he gonna say it back? Are they gonna hug?" And then he just like walked away. I felt bad for Michael.
When the kid said, "You burn in hell," I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Poor Michael."
But yeah, that was it for that story. So okay, I'm ready for the whole who killed Dell mystery to just be over, for everybody to know who did it, so we can just get to the trial already.
Oh, do they have a trial?
I feel like that's inevitable. It has to happen. It's a soap opera, right?
Well, I know the actress that plays Elaine leaves.
Yeah, I looked that up. She doesn't leave for till the end of the year. So.
Oh, okay. So we got a way.
Yeah.
Then there's probably a trial. She must go to prison or jail.
Yeah. So that I don't know. I'm ready for that to be over. I'm ready for these Deschanel jewels to be found and go to whoever they belong to. I'm tired of that. I kind of want to see the whole Caitlyn, Olivia, Cole triangle heat up a little bit more.
You could be tired of it though, because we're watching it kind of like if it was a nighttime soap. So in that realm of things, it has lasted long. But if you think about daytime, it hasn't lasted that long.
That is true. But
I still see what you're saying. I'm ready for them to wrap up as well.
It hasn't lasted that long, and I still say that this moves faster than a normal soap opera.
Oh, most
Because every
definitely.
time I watch it, I do feel like I'm just watching 5 episodes of a primetime soap.
It almost feels like 1 week is one episode.
Or one day or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, however you want to put it.
Yeah. Um,
I mean, I still enjoy it.
I'm just ready for like the storylines that have been going on since like the beginning, like
Hmm.
since the pilot, so to speak. Excuse me, would wrap up, and
Yeah,
we can start seeing some fresh faces, get some like new stories.
I think this show would have worked better if it was on at the very last block,
Yeah,
and
like when
kind of
when kids were coming home from school.
yes, yes, because I remember this came out at 10 o'clock in the morning for where I'm at, and that just seems like an odd time for a soap.
It came on at 12 here, but
But
again, everybody's at school, so
it's really good, and it's still written very. I think it's still written really well.
it still holds up more or less.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm entertained. Like I've never been like, oh, I don't want to watch this episode. It's so boring. Like there's usually something I'm like, oh, I like this.
If we were watching it daily, I'd still be watching.
hmm Me too. It should have came on at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Hmm. Kind of like how General Hospital's time.
Yeah, that could have been NBC's competition for it because they would have had Another World / once that got canceled, Passions.
Yeah, because I guess this took the place of Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara was already off the air for 4 years.
Oh, that's right. It was off the air for 4 years. Huh. I forgot about that. Was there? And there wasn't a soap in between then.
No, so for a while it was just Another World and Days,
Hmm.
and then Sunset Beach came. But did you have a favorite character this week?
Um, Olivia. I thought it was nice to see her be more of a caring mother, and we're not just talking about her drunk side. Like she's actually like she wasn't drunk in any of these episodes, and she could
Okay.
have easily turned to the bottle when her son,
I think for the first time,
If you say Gregory, I'm going to hit you.
I'm gonna say Meg
Oh, okay.
because I usually say like Bet, Annie, or Olivia. I feel
Well,
like for the
Bet
first
wasn't
time,
there. My other one would have been Paula.
okay, I like Paula
Yeah. But sorry, I
um,
didn't mean to interrupt you. Meg for the first time.
because her like just like unemotional like shutting down of Annie, like
Yeah.
she's just so unbothered by anything Annie had to say to her. She was just like, no.
I love that actress, the actress that plays her. She was in this movie called The In Crowd,
Mhm,
and she was like the Blair Waldorf before Blair, or Regina George before Regina George.
mhm.
So, have you seen In Crowd?
Yep.
Okay, man, was she good? And at the end, when she just like puts her lips like little lip
Oh
balm
yeah.
on, and still
That
looking all.
reminds me. That reminds me of the Crush with Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen that.
And I've just seen a lot of femme fatale movies that kind of end that way.
But Meg, I feel like she's just one of those characters. She's the heroine of that show.
So I was on the Sunset Beach Wikipedia today. That's how I found out when Ray was leaving and all that stuff. And I read during the casting because Susan Ward, that's her name, right?
Yes.
Was on Malibu Shores before this, like 6 months before this.
Oh, that's right.
And when she either auditioned or was approached about being on Sunset Beach, she said she wanted to play the good girl, as opposed to the bad girl she played on Malibu Shores.
Hmm.
So that was interesting.
She did good,
I thought so.
or
But
she is
you
doing
could say
good.
she's a little feisty. Like she
Like
doesn't put up shit with bullshit.
I don't know if she's still acting. I think she was. Was she in Make It or Break It? I feel like she was. I
I feel
could be
like
wrong.
it's been a really long time since I looked her up individually, but I feel like she hasn't acted in quite a few years.
Because I feel like she would do really well as a parent on a teen soap, but an active parent that has a good storyline, not just one of those
Yeah.
parents that, hey, here's mom, and then you kids have fun, and or at least
Yeah.
something, because I really like her.
I'm also just like ready for Annie to like for everybody to know Annie's alive and for her to
Yeah,
not be
I'm
in
tired of
anymore.
I'm tired of her being stuck in Ben's apartment
House.
or house.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to cover this a little more often and we'll get it moving and see some changes. Because I just want to get to the Scream,
You want to get to Terror Island?
the Sarah Island.
When does that take place?
I think January of '98. So we're still
But we're
pretty
not.
far.
I mean, we're in April.
Yeah, and that's why I want to cover it more often because I want to get there faster.
Well, I'm just glad to know though that's not like the end storyline, and there'll
Yeah.
still be some left. Because I'll be sad when we get through Sunset Beach.
Well, that won't be for a very long time. So
Yeah. We'll probably be on season 7 by then.
Or older.
We're celebrating our 50th birthday. We finally got to.
I literally think it's around a year. I think it was around the 17th or 18th we started Sunset Beach last year, and we've only watched 65 episodes, and there's 755. So
Damn.
it's gonna be a little bit.
And there's a few weeks we covered more than we're like, ooh, we got to keep watching the next week. So
yeah. So
I don't know. Maybe we need to think of a new Sunset Beach schedule.
Sunset Beach.
There'll be a production meeting.
Yeah. But
who's your least favorite character?
My least favorite character, Whaley.
Same. Mm-hmm.
They said he was leaving, but he would be coming back, and I'm just like, well, take an extended leave.
Same.
Yeah.
So
we got a little bit of everybody that I liked. So I got Spike, I got Bet, although Bet wasn't really like her historical self like she usually is. Love
there's
Olivia.
Something about her, the actress. She's played 2 characters I really, really adore. She's played Aunt Bet and Edna Wallace on Passions. And, completely different characters.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about when she comes on the screen, I just can't look away.
Yes.
She
was in like 2 scenes, and literally I'm just like looking at her facial expressions because she's always doing something with her face.
I'm eating up every second she's on my screen. Yes. Just like, like I'm shocked John doesn't go, you might want to back up from the screen. I can't help it. Aunt Bet's on.
Aunt Bet.
And I'm excited. I know she's on Knox Landing.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to eventually see her. I mean, if I ever get caught up.
But do you have anything else to add about this week?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, as always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And once again, do not forget to check out Tomorrow's a New Day, which comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, because it's a new day.
And until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.